Be going through my CLI Scraper project for the Flatiron School, the software engineering program. So what I did was I used a animal sanctuary website, Woodstock Sanctuary, and I scraped it. And basically, you're able to prompt a list of the current animals at the sanctuary, and then also by typing in their name, you'd be able to get more information on each individual animal. So we're going to start here. I have two folders. I have my bin and I have my library. We'll start in my bin in my main section. After the shebang line, it requires the relative in my environment, and then it has a new instance here where you're able to run the CLI and basically start the program. So we'll start in my environment. We're requiring a couple of things and a couple of relatives. The programs I'm using here: Nokogiri, OpenURI, Pry, and then the relatives, which are my files down here in my library folder, my scraper, my CLI, and my rescue class. So first what I'll do is I'll just run the program so you can get an idea of what it does. Okay, so it's going to prompt up a little introduction here. Welcome the rescue helper, find an animal to donate to, and are you ready to meet our rescues? So I'm going to press yes, we are. And here you can see it's propped up a list, a numbered list here for you of the animals currently on property. So then down here it's going to ask you which animal would you like more information on, and to type their name. So I'm going to type Zia. And when you type Zia, it gives you a little bit of a blurb and a story about maybe how they got there, or their background, or so on and so forth. And then what it does is it'll prompt you again, would you like to make another selection if you'd like to see another animal? I will say yes, and then this time we'll just say Zeus. And then Zeus, it'll give you a little bit of his background, and so on and so forth. So let's get into the actual making of the program. I'll start with my CLI and how it works with the program. So the first method I have here is a run. It puts the design, which is the short intro here, and then your welcome messages: welcome the rescue helper and find an animal to donate to. It initiates a new instance of my scraper, and then it's going to access the intro method. So when you go to the intro method, it's going to ask if you're ready to meet the rescues. It's going to take the user input, strip it, downcase, and then it's going to work into a conditional. If the user says yes, they do want to see more animals, then we will go into two methods: list animals and then more info. So we'll start with list animals. List animals here gives a message to meet our animals, and then it's going to access this rescue class method, rescue.findall.each, and then it's going to push it into an index so it can just show you the list of the animals. So I'll just show you, since we're talking about rescue.findall, I'll show you what that is in our rescue class. So rescue.findall is going to take all the instances of the rescue class. It's going to iterate over it with map, just so it can find all of those for you. So back to our CLI up here. So after we do that, it's going to then access the more info method. And with that, it's going to ask you, would you like more information, and to type their name. It's going to, again, take user info, strip it, and then it's going to access another rescue method from the rescue class, which is rescue.findRescue, taking user input, and I'll show you what that is here. It's also going to push you into another conditional here, where if you don't put the valid response in, it'll tell you that, and then it'll go back into the more info method. It'll just kind of loop you around until you type in the right thing there. So I'll go into the rescue.findRescue method here. So as you can see here, it's self.all.find, and then x.name equals name, the variable, and it's going to find and match up the user info, typing in what they're typing in with what we have, so that they can prop up that blurb of information. The last thing it's going to do is it's going to access our scraper class, and then it's going to go, and this is actually our second scraper method that I have, and this one is basically pushing out that blurb of the extra information. Lastly, what it does is it's going to go into another method, which is relist, which is down here. And all that's basically doing is looping you around. So now you've seen the list of animals, you've chosen your animal, and then it's going to ask you, would you like to make another selection? It's going to loop you around if you say yes, back into list animals and more info methods, so you can check out some more animals and have a better user experience for you. So I'll go into my scraper now as well. So this is my scraper class. Right here we can see where the URL we're using is the Woodstock Sanctuary. We're breaking that down into our parse page variable, Nokogiri and HTML. And then in another variable rescue list, we're taking that parse page variable .css, and these are the elements that we're grabbing for the names of each rescue. Then we're taking that rescue list variable, we're iterating over it, and then we're able to take out the name and the information. And then what we're going to do with that is each instance of our rescue class will have our name and our info. And then secondly, what we have in our scraper class, this is our second scraper, and this one specifically takes those blurbs about each animal and it puts it into our more info class that we went through earlier. So that's going to do that right here. And then finally, we have our rescue class, which we went through a bit earlier, but just some extra info on it. We're initializing with a name and a URL. We have methods to save it, to expose the variable. And then, like we showed earlier, our self.find rescue and our self.findAll method. And these are our class methods for rescue. And that is my rescue helper CLI scraper project.